Peter, good morning. An absolute pleasure to be with you here today at VivaTech in Paris 2026. Chief Digital Officers, an area we do a lot of work with, and we work with a lot of customers and stakeholders who are in that type of role. And for me, at a headline level, the mandate is typically on building new business models and very much taking innovation and new products to market for your client and customer experience. So let's start by just telling me a little bit about you, your role, and your priorities at Schneider Electric.
Yeah, good morning, James, and thanks for having me here at VivaTech. Fascinating event, like every year. So I've been in that role as a Chief Digital Officer at Schneider Electric for the last 6 years now already. And the role becomes more and more interesting day by day. And I'm a technology person. I've been in technology for the last 30 years. And I find that the most fascinating time of my life because technology has never been moving at the pace that we see right now. And even if you only look at the last 6 months, the pace has even accelerated. I believe, and when I talk technology, I mostly mean AI right now.
Yes.
AI will change every business. It will change every person's role in any of these businesses. So it will be extremely transformative. And what we have been observing over the last 6 months only is that technology, AI technology, has evolved from being an augmentation, a tool to support people in whatever they do, right? In marketing, in sales, in software engineering, to becoming now a capability that can totally automate and take over certain tasks. I'm not talking about the full role of a person, but taking over certain tasks. So my role, together with my peers on the XCOM, is shifting very much from only building business cases and assessing technology and deploying technology into how do we have to transform the organization? Because we are very conscious, and we spent a full day with the XCOM last week on this, that our organization will look different in a year from now, in 2 years from now, in 5 years from now. And we need to start planning for that and actively driving that transformation.
Very interesting. And in relation to the type of skills and talent you bring into the organization and the type of partners that you look to work with, how has that changed as a result of AI?
So I think all will change, and it is starting to change. Let's start with ourselves first. We made the very conscious decision that we need to go into strategic workforce planning. We have about 3,000 job codes at Schneider, and they break down in even a larger number of tasks. So we need to map these major tasks and then basically make conscious decisions which of these tasks can be more augmented or maybe even fully be replaced by AI in the future. From this, we need to map what is our workforce landscape going to look like in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years from now. And that's something that we have started. So we are actively embracing this. And your question actually triggers a very important thought. We need to do the same for our partners as well. And when I think of partners, it could be distributors, it could be system integrators, basically all types of partners that we work with, suppliers that we work with. We need to probably do a very similar exercise. How is that relationship going to change? How are our expectations towards these partners going to change in the future? And probably maybe another thought, how are our customers' expectations towards Schneider going to change in this new world? And certainly AI will play a major role in this as well.
Yeah, very much so. Customer expectation shifts quite dramatically, doesn't it? And as you've heard from our survey results this year of nearly 2,000 C-level technology leaders, number one priority this year is very much around that business and IT alignment. When we look at the why, that is very much driven by technology leaders needing ROI and a significant win from AI as an enabler this year. So from your experience in Schneider, what are some of the lessons learned? What are some of the big wins and return on investment you're seeing from AI today?
First, let me respond to the survey results. I have actually always looked at it that way. IT is not only an organization that has to provision and operate certain technologies, but IT has to work hand in hand with the business to also project where would we like to be in a year, in 5 years from now, from a business process perspective, but also from a technology perspective. And at Schneider, basically immediately after I joined, I introduced a model which we call our power couples, which is a business process leader working hand in hand with a technology leader and they have two tasks. They have to fix all the problems of the next quarter, but they also need to kind of project where would we like to be in 3 years from now, both on business process as well as on the technology side. Now, taking this to that question on what is the benefits that we generate, right? That's a natural thing for us, right? Because we do not look at IT as a cost center setup. And yes, we are a cost center. Of course, we track our costs, but we also track what are the benefits that we are generating. And I would advise everybody to embrace a model like this, because you need to talk, of course, about how much money you spend, but you also need to talk about what do you get out of that. And you need to measure the returns. And my advice is also, don't create a shadow reporting on this. Be very conscious, where do you find these benefits in the P&L?
100%. And again, within the results, we're seeing, no surprise, investment in cybersecurity from a budget perspective continues to grow year on year, just like we see in the industry of defense, huge growth and investment. One of the things I talked about earlier was the paradox we're seeing around digital sovereignty, combined with the desire to have more, from a CIO's perspective, operational effectiveness with huge offshore growth as well as nearshore. How do you see that paradox and challenge of getting the balance right and the digital sovereignty?
So first, as a company, we are extremely global, right? So we operate in North America, in China, in India, in Europe. So basically in almost all countries in the world. And of course, digital sovereignty is an important topic for us as well. Of course, we need to look at it differently, whether we are doing business in China versus business in the US. Now, and then there's, of course, a very conscious debate in which of your data sets and your IT works do you really require sovereignty. If you say, hey, I need full sovereignty in everything, then this becomes quite challenging or maybe undoable. So it requires a discussion. What are your golden nuggets that you have where you really require sovereignty? Because let's be honest, sovereignty will have an extra price tag to it. And maybe the usability is degraded if you want to run a fully sovereign system.
Yes.
So it requires that discussion. What are these data sets and IT workloads where you need to have sovereignty? And then, of course, you need to make the right technology choices. And you also need to make the right process choices on how to achieve this sovereignty. I've also worked in defense for a couple of years, right? And defense has always been in that space.
Yes.
That sovereignty was one of the key requirements. And that led to certain technology decisions, which were very different from most other businesses. But they were more expensive, and they usually created systems which were a bit more difficult to deal with.
So Peter, a huge thank you for joining us today at Viva Tech. It's been an absolute pleasure discussing what's happening today and what the future holds.
Thanks, James. Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed our conversation.
It was our pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.